I was thinking just now, I love those moments in conversations where you kind of realize it's not about being right or wrong. It's just kind of seeing things from different perspectives. Because I believe that true communication is about understanding, not just proving a point. So, I don't know, but also, you don't want to be so understanding that, or so forgiving that you miss when someone's disrespecting you. I just wanted to throw that out there before we start the stream. Just something that was on my mind. Um, Welcome back to the stream. I'm really glad to see y'all, man. I'm glad y'all popped in, man. I'm glad y'all popped that. You know what I'm saying? Can't fuck with your boy, you know. Um, you know. Throw the shades on and no, these are not to look cool. But I'm weird. I'm a little weird. I don't know. I don't know if you guys ever remember Casey Neistat, but he used to always wear his glasses during streams or during his YouTube videos, and it was because he didn't want the viewers to know where his eyes were during the stream, and that kind of resonated with me, and it kind of made like the videos a lot cooler, you know, just a lot. Like you don't have to focus on my eyes, you know, like you could just actually hear what I'm saying, you know, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, or should I say tonight? You know, it might be daytime where you at, but I'm gonna say tonight because it's nighttime where I'm at. So tonight we're gonna dive into a few topics that are affecting so many of us right now. Whether you're a man or a female, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, you know, whether you got kids, whether you don't, whether you're a bachelor, whether you're a player, whether you know, any of the above, whatever, right? And these topics that are affecting us so much are things that are affecting us whether we realize it or not. Like some of us don't even realize it, that these things are affecting us. So with that being said, today we're going to talk about loneliness while in a hyper-connected world and the impact of social media on human connection. Now, I think that this topic is a little bit different. It can definitely open the doors for deeper conversation. Now, before we start, I kind of want to ask y'all a quick question. Have any of you ever felt isolated or disconnected, even though you're surrounded by a group of people or you're constantly online and have like a bunch of followers or anything like that, like, or maybe you have a big ass family? Like, let's hear your thoughts in the chat real quick. I know I've seen a lot of people, you know, just scrolling the net, just, you know, talking to people in general, say that they've felt that way before, you know. And it's a strange ass thing. You know what I mean? Like in an age, in this day and age where we can talk to anybody, anytime, from anywhere, it's like loneliness. You would think you wouldn't even feel it, but it's still something that a lot of us like still wrestle with, you know. But we live in this, for lack of a better term, paradox where technology has made communication easier than than it's ever been. You know, that's why a bunch of kids don't even go outside no more. You know, I remember having to be on the house phone if I wanted to talk to my little middle school girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember having to be in on the house phone. Then I got to worry about the siblings eavesdropping on the house phone, like all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think although technology has made communication easier, it seems like a lot of us are more disconnected than we've ever been too. You know, it almost feels like the more we connect, the more we lose touch with reality, or the more we lose touch with what it truly means to be connected to someone or something out there. You know, because obviously, like if you're just DMing somebody back and forth, unless you know them in real life, there's probably not a real true connection. But those words on screen, depending on what they're saying or what you're saying, and the conversation being had, can make it feel like it's a real connection. And so it's almost like living in a fake ass world, you know. So today I kind of want to explore I kind of want to explore why that is. You know, I kind of want to explore and on top of that, I'd love for y'all to be a part of the conversation. You know, so let's get deep with the shit. You know, holla at me, I holla back. You know. So with that being said, I guess we should probably define what I mean personally by loneliness, right? Most of the time, when we think of loneliness, we we imagine being physically alone, like nobody around us, just us, you know, like, and I know all the people who live alone, like, Mike could relate because I live alone most of the time. You know what I'm saying? But we imagine being physically alone, no one around us, no one to talk to. But it's the digital age, so it's a little bit more complex than that, right? You could have hundreds, even you could have thousands upon thousands, even hundreds of thousands, even millions of followers online. You could have 100 friends online, whatever, right? Friends or followers, right? And you can still feel like nobody really sees you. You know, you could be talking to people all day in the DMs, but still feel empty inside. You know, so let's ask the question: is loneliness just about being physically alone, or is it about a lack of deep? Is it about a lack of deep, meaningful connection? You know what I mean? And that's kind of the question that I'm trying to get at today. You know, and I'd love to know what y'all think about this. Are we confusing interaction with connection? Okay, so I wanted to give y'all a second to kind of think about that, let that process. But a lot of the times I see a lot of mixed emotions, you know, which is cool. You know, some people are saying that while social media helps us stay in touch, it a lot of the times feels shallow. And then others think it's just how you use social media that matters and that can make the difference, right? And And I don't know, I'm not for sure which one it is, but here's the thing though. Our online connections have shifted a lot, right? I mean, we're not just texting our friends or calling them anymore. We're posting, we're sharing, we're liking, we're commenting. You know, they got apps like WhatsApp and Discord and stuff like that. So it's you can literally link with strangers like that. You know, it's a whole new form of social interaction that's become the norm. So it's easy to ruin your life from social media. You know, very easy to get distracted, to get caught up, to get tempted, all kinds of things. But the question is, are these interactions truly fulfilling? You know, are the interactions where you're posting, sharing, liking, commenting, are those interactions truly fulfilling to the human mind and the human heart and the human soul? Social media, for example, can sometimes create this false sense of being connected to the world. When in reality, it can kind of leave us feeling empty. It's like we're filling the space with constant noise, but not really communicating in a meaningful way. Without deep, I feel as though without deep communication, man, are you living? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like being in a relationship without deep communication. It it feels a bit different, right? And don't even get me started on like the comparison shit. Like you scroll through somebody's feed and you see this perfect highlight reel of their life, and it just adds to the feeling of loneliness in your life, right? Um, which is crazy. Yeah, it's a bit crazy. So, with that being said, let's kind of take a second to take a deeper dive into another aspect of everything I've been talking about right now, the pressure. Another aspect of everything I've been speaking of is the pressure of always being on, right? And I ain't talking about Boosie and Webby. I'm on, wipe me down. You know what I'm saying? But the pressure of being on, like this is something I think a lot of us feel. Whether you're streaming, posting on social media, or just trying to keep up with the friends and family, we have this expectation to always be available, or to always be entertaining, or to always be present online. So that's what I mean by on, right? But you got to think: is is that sustainable? Does it make us feel more connected or more drained? I know for me, sometimes it feels like the more connected I am, the more exhausted I can get sometimes. But then there's also this a feeling of exhilaration too. And that's why I do what I do, among many other reasons, right? But the less I actually feel like I'm connecting, I feel like the more I connect in other ways on social media, the less I feel like I'm connecting with the people who matter. You know what I'm saying? Like family, things of that nature. You know what I mean? Because if you use social media for a certain type of vibe, you're most likely not going to use social media for a different type of vibe. You know what I mean? Which would be like family, friends, and all that stuff. I mean, it can be used for that, but most of the time it's probably not. Like if I was famous right now from doing social media related stuff, like I'm probably gonna have like three phones, at least three phones. You know what I'm saying? One of them being for this social media platform, this or whatever the case may be, and then another one being for family and friends. You know what I mean? So you gotta kind of think about that. But do you feel? And I'm kind of curious. Do y'all feel that kind of pressure too? Like, how do y'all balance everything on social media? You know. Um, yeah, how do y'all balance it all? So, with that being said, go ahead and comment in the chat, man. Let me know how y'all feeling about this. Um, I'm gonna take a quick intermission. You know, this is gonna get deeper and deeper, man. So I hope y'all comfortable in a comfortable spot, man. I hope y'all got your favorite snacks. Hope y'all comfortable in a comfortable spot. I hope y'all got your favorite snacks. I hope y'all chilling, cause it's most definitely about to get a lot deeper than now. Give me a second. We're gonna take a quick intermission, and I'll be right back. Oh, technical difficulty. So with the, when I was taking an intermission real quick, I kind of had an interesting thought, and I was just thinking like, um, with the rise of online communities and like virtual spaces, some of us, some of us are actually, some of us are actually finding more connection in these digital realms than we do in the real world, right? Um, and hold on one second, guys. One second. Be right back. So what I was saying was, excuse me. So with the rise of these online communities and these quote unquote virtual spaces, some of us we kind of like we kind of actually finding more connection in these digital spaces and realms than we do in the real world, right? And I feel like it's been like that for a while. There's like ever since videos games were prominent, because video games were prominent way before social media, right? And then there came social media. But I feel like even back in the day with like Atari, Super Nintendo, um, you know, just video games, period, back in the day, you had kids who were inside busting that bitch down, and then you had kids who couldn't afford Atari or Super Nintendo, and they was outside. They was in the woods. They was in the, they was hopping off the porch. They was, playing kickball in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So, or they were doing other things, but I feel like some of us are actually like we're finding more genuine connections in these digital places than we do in the real world. Like when you put on a video game and you got a headset on. I like playing Call of Duty personally. Like that's my vibe. And when I got a headset on, man, if I'm not in there with the homies, I'm in there with a bunch of people who I don't know. And sometimes I've gotten to know people in those video games like a little bit, had good conversations, had a real good time, you know. And then when I go out in the real world, it's a little bit different because, you got piece of shit people. You know what I'm saying? You got piece of shit people. You got people with people are shy, more shy in the real world. You got people with a lot more. There's a lot more insecurities in the real world. There's in the video game, or on social media too, you can kind of be whoever the hell you feel like being. And it shouldn't be that way, but a lot of people are taking advantage of that. Like that one dude who was scamming a bunch of people and got taken down, and everybody thought he was like this legit dude, but he was scamming a bunch of people, making millions. I forgot his name, Hush Puppy, I think his name was. But think about it though, places like Twitch, and I love Twitch, right? But places like Twitch, Discord, gaming communities, all these places have created these safe spaces where people can be their authentic selves without even having to be themselves, right? Because you can get on the game, you don't even know who this person looks like. You can share experiences, you can build relationships, but then it's like, why do so many of us still feel this deep sense of loneliness in the midst of all these other online communities or in the real world? Is it because we're all still lacking real world face to face connection? Like, because we've been so accustomed to these screens? Or is it something deeper? Maybe it's that feeling of being misunderstood in the real world and only finding true empathy in these virtual spaces. True empathy, true meaning, true, all kinds of other different things in these virtual spaces. And I'd love to hear y'all thoughts about this. Do online communities fill that void, or do they create a new kind of isolation? You know. All right. So let's get kind of serious for a second, right? Mental health, and I don't think it's just my opinion when I say this, but mental health is deeply tied to loneliness. Right? That's not an opinion. I think that's a fact. Um, and technology has a complicated relationship with that, because it's like on one hand The internet and social media give us access to a shitload of resources, therapy apps, support groups that we didn't have before. But on the other hand, there's overwhelming evidence that the more time we spend online, the more likely we are to experience shit like anxiety, depression, and isolation, right? Or feelings of isolation. So you got to think how much of our loneliness is linked to our constant exposure or our constant exposure to the digital world. Are we harming our mental health by staying connected to these apps and games and spaces? Or is it more about how we use these apps, games, and spaces? You know, and that's a damn good question. What do you guys think? How does technology shape our mental health? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And this has been a dope ass conversation. First of all, this has been a dope ass conversation. And if you're new to the conversation, new to the channel, my name is Cloudy Wingz. That's CLOUDYWINGZ. I do a few things, man. I also do YouTube. I got a YouTube channel with 90,000 subscribers. You can go check me out on YouTube. Type me into YouTube. That's Cloudy Wingz with a Z at the end. CLOUDYWINGZ and a space in between the Y and the W. But yeah, check me out, man. Hit that follow button here. Hit that subscribe button there. You know what I mean? I can't even talk right now. Yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, this has been a good ass conversation. And I really appreciate y'all being here. And as I wrap up this portion of the conversation, I think the key takeaway is that loneliness is complicated, right? It's it's not just about being alone, and it's definitely not just about how many followers or likes y'all get, or we get, or whoever gets. It's about the depth of the connections we form, whether they're online or offline. You know, and shit, maybe the challenge isn't about eliminating loneliness altogether. Maybe it's about finding balance. Balance between the digital shit and the physical shit, between sharing and being truly present, between connection and solitude type shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but I love to hear it from all of y'all. Whether it's in the chat, whether it's in my DMs, come holler at your boy, man. About whatever, come holler at your boy, man. And tell me, man, like what are some ways you found that help you kind of fight loneliness in this social media online world. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you deal with loneliness? How do you kind of make that shit go away? You know. Now, social media is a massive part of our lives. And when I do say DMs, obviously you guys can't DM me on Twitch. Go to my Instagram. I forgot to plug in my IG. It's Cloudy Wingz 2. So it's Cloudy Wingz and the number 2. Same name on here, just the number 2 at the end. Or if y'all want to DM me on TikTok, it's just Cloudy Wingz. Or if y'all want to DM me on Facebook, it's Cloudy Wingz. But yeah, obviously you guys can DM me on here. But so now, obviously, social media is a massive part of our lives, right? Whether it's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Twitch, you know, Facebook, or even I don't know. You know, there's a lot of platforms I probably don't even know about. But regardless, these platforms have reshaped how we communicate and interact with one another. You know, but the big question is, are we really more connected or are we just more distracted? And and before we dive into this next topic or next section of this topic, whatever you want to call it, I'd love to hear from y'all. Right. So, do you feel like social media has brought you closer to people or made you feel more distant? You know, let me know what you think. What y'all think about that? Okay. Okay. So let's start with the bright side. Right. Let's start with the bright side. Social media promised us this beautiful, revolutionary way to connect to other people. Right. The idea when social media was first introduced, the idea was simple. Right. No matter where you are in the world, you can keep up with friends, family, and even shit strangers who share the same interests as you. You know, they like the same shit, they like doing the same shit, whatever. Um, and on the surface, you know, obviously everybody was like, "Damn, that's fucking crazy. That's amazing. That's whatever." Like shit, when email and AOL and all that shit came out, like the world was in a frenzy. You know, but think about it. People have forged lifelong friendships online, straight up. You know, like people have found the love of their life and ended up getting married and having babies from being online. Shit, communities have formed around common passions. Like when I had my motorcycle, all I had to do was hop online. Shit, where we meeting up tonight, boys? You know what I'm saying? When I'm driving a fly ass car and I want to go to a car meet, I'm getting online. You know what I'm saying? If I don't already have the boys, info, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting online. Like where's the car meet at? You know what I mean? And we have access to so much information at our fingertips, obviously with like Google and shit like that, right? And AI and Meta and all that type of shit. It's crazy because we can message someone halfway across the world in literally the sound of like light. That's mind blowing. That's mind blowing as fuck. There's people who fell in love and don't even live on the same sides of the fucking world, on the same sides of the earth. And then they finally meet each other, and one person moves to, Thailand, or the person in Thailand gets a visa and comes to America. You know what I'm saying? And that's mind fucking boggling right there. And hell, my brother actually did some shit like that. My brother was he was teaching in Tokyo in Japan, teaching English. He's an English teacher in Tokyo, and met the love of his life down there, man. Met the love of his life. Took him back to America, introduced him to the her to the family, and they ended up having a baby. And sometimes they have a place in America and a place in Japan. Like so. I've seen it firsthand. You know, there's been love. There's been, I don't even know how to explain it, but women I've met online. You know what I'm saying? But here's the question. Here's the question. Is this kind of connection as real as the face to face interactions if it was to stay online, right? Is that connection as real as the face to face interactions we used to have all the time? Or do y'all feel as though something is missing in that digital translation? You know? That's a damn good question. It's a damn good question, and I can't figure it out. Cause sometimes like you may feel connected to a person just by typing to them online, you know, but are you actually connected? Like y'all could laugh, y'all could share the same interests, whatever, share information about yourselves, but are y'all actually really and genuinely connected? But all right, so let's dig a little deeper. Let's dig a little deeper into this shit. So, one of the things I've noticed is that social media gives us like a sense of quantity. Like we have hundreds or even thousands of people we're connected to. It makes you feel that way. But how many of those relationships are actually meaningful? Like I know people right now who've got like 1,200 friends on Facebook, and they don't know 200 other motherfuckers. They never met 200 other motherfuckers. Don't even talk to 200 other motherfuckers. Like, what? I mean, it goes to show that you can have a grip of followers. You can have 100 of followers, hundreds of followers, right? But it's like, how many of those people would actually show up for you when shit gets tough? How many of those people would take the time to actually sit down and listen to you? How many of those people would go to your funeral? You know what I'm saying? So at that point, does it make it pointless? I know people with 5,000 friends on Facebook and don't even know 100 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I used to be one of those people until I just started deleting all kind of motherfuckers because I just got sick and tired of seeing what people were talking about on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So I just deleted. I ran my friends list down from 5,000 on Facebook, from 5,000 to like 1,200 or some shit like that, 1,400 or some shit like that. I don't know. But this is where things kind of get tricky, because social media always makes it feel like we're connecting, but when it comes down to it, a lot of these interactions are just surface level. They're not real. We can scroll, like, comment, share memes, whatever the fuck, like, but does that really replace the deep, meaningful conversations we used to have back in the day, like in the 70s and 80s? You know what I mean? Like the face-to-face, meaningful conversations. And me personally, I'm more of an introvert, right? I can be extroverted at times, but I'm more of an introvert. Like, people are cool, but I'm not really into people as much as a lot of other people. But I can have a good conversation. I can have a meaningful conversation. I can have a surface level conversation, and I can have a fucking yelling match and say fuck you the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's really just how you come at me. But what do y'all think? Does the quantity of online connections outweigh the quality, or do you think that you can find meaningful connections online too? Ooh, here's another big part of the conversation. The highlight reel. Right? I don't know if y'all ever heard that term, but social media a lot of the times becomes a place where people only show the best parts of their lives, whether that's vacations, achievements, celebrations, materialistic things. But the problem with all of that shit is that we're only seeing we're only seeing this polished version of their actual reality. And they're only showing us what they want us to see. And me personally, I'm kind of like that in real life. Like, I'll only tell you what I want you to know, and I'll only let you see what I want you to see, right? But on social media, it's like looking at a movie trailer and thinking that's the whole film. Like, are you out of your fucking mind, nigga? But a lot of people do that. A lot of people will scroll on Instagram and like start feeling like shit about themselves because of other people's Instagrams. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what happens when you're scrolling through those perfect moments, right? It's easy to fall into that comparison trap. You know, you start thinking that everyone else has their life together while you're just struggling to get through the week. You know, and that's not always the case. I could take a picture next to a fly ass car right now, but that doesn't mean that I own it. That doesn't mean that the bank doesn't own it. And that doesn't mean that I'm making astronomical ass payments on the motherfucker, and the motherfucker's not even in my name. You know what I'm saying? Like, the smartest people in the world. It's just weird that people make judgments based off of shit like that, because there's people with $90,000 in their bank account, just throwing out a number, 90 grand in their bank account, driving around a fucking $4,500 car, right? And they go places and people treat them differently based off of their car, or they walk around with no designer, no jewelry, you know. And then there's people with not even 4,500 in their bank account, but they drive around a $90,000 car that they can hardly afford payments on. That's eating away at their fucking paycheck. You know what I mean? And the funny part is that person in that $4,500 car might have a lot more freedom than the person in the $90,000 car. But everybody looks at their car as a major achievement. All right, that's crazy fucking shit to think about. You know, very crazy to think about. But the truth is, no one's gonna post their bad days. I'm not posting my bad days. What the fuck, you got me fucked up. You know, I'm not. If you know my business, I might have to kill you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, I'm not posting my bad days. You know what I'm saying? Nobody posts their struggles or their quote unquote behind the scenes. You know, so it can make you feel more isolated because all you see is like all this like better shit, even though you're constantly plugged in to the world of curated images and post-curated, mind you. They are curated images and curated posts, no matter what it is. You know, and then don't even get me started on the women on social media. You know, there's nothing wrong with a little plastic surgery. There's nothing wrong with getting your body done. You know what I'm saying? But damn, imagine nobody just know that like a year ago you were like this, just not what you are right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be crazy, right? But and then like, is that technically a catfish? I mean, I don't know. But regardless, well, actually, I'm kind of curious, does anyone else feel that way? You know, like, social media creates the illusion of perfection, right? Social media creates the illusion of perfection. Shout out to Hannah. Thank you for the follow. But does anyone else feel that way? Like, social media creates this illusion of perfection, right? But let me know, have you ever felt like you're comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel? And this is the kicker. There are famous people who are guilty of this. So the shit you see online can be some of the fakest, most misleading shit that you can imagine. Like, straight up. So, with that being said, actually, let's keep going. I was going to take an intermission, but let's keep going. Because speaking of comparison, right? Let's talk about let's talk about something that I feel like a lot of people deal with these days, and that is FOMO. And if you don't know what FOMO is, it's the fear of missing out, right? It's that, it's like a nagging fly feeling that you get when you see someone else having fun, or you see somebody else living their best life, traveling or, succeeding or whatever, while you feel like you're stuck in place, you know. And FOMO can be super damaging to our mental health. Like, whether we realize it or not, it makes us question our own lives. It makes us question our choices in life. It makes us question our relationships, no matter how meaningful these relationships can be. And it can even lead to feelings of like, feeling like we're not good enough, like inadequacy, or even anxiety. But the tricky thing is, social media amplifies these feelings. You're constantly seeing what others are doing, and while you might feel, you might be happy for them, right? Because you're not a hater. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably like, damn, that's what's up. That's dope, right? It's hard not to wonder why you're not in that same place. Why aren't you having as much fun? Why aren't you on a fucking yacht right now? Why aren't you surrounded by a bunch of women right now? Why can't you afford knee surgery so you can be 6'5"? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not funny, but it's funny, because people really be thinking this. You know what I mean? But, and then they think like, why can't I receive the same recognition or awards or whatever? And to keep it all the way real, I've personally dealt with FOMO before. Hell yeah. I was I still am. I'm gonna get back to it. I was taking a hiatus for a while, but being a musical artist for years and watching people who I went to major label meetings with blow up. You know what I'm saying? Go sign $1 million deals. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still here, trying to push it as a local artist slash lightweight international, or not international, but slash lightweight national artist, but not really getting the recognition I felt like I was getting. You know, and I think we all have felt like that before, regardless of what it is. It could be a cheerleader at school, you know what I'm saying? And you want to be the top captain cheerleader, you know what I'm saying? It could be anything, right? But the reality is, we don't see the whole picture. People post what they want us to see, like I said, not the moments where they're feeling down or questioning themselves. But don't get me wrong, hold on. Let me take that back, actually. Let me take that back, because some people do. I have seen a lot of different posts, and I don't condone doing this. I think this is even more unhealthy for mental health. But there are some people who do post themselves, feeling down, sometimes even suicidal, which I have seen posts that have saved people's lives. They were feeling suicidal. They were literally right on the edge, and them going live and talking about their feelings, and the people they love streaming in like, what the fuck? And somebody makes that phone call, police bust in, save their fucking life. Like, I agree with something like that, right? But then there's other people who just, they have these tell-all moments, and, they break down on social media, and social media is it can be an evil place, right? It's one of those places where not too many people are going to give a damn. Not too many people are going to give a damn about your problems, man. So I think it's counterproductive to post stuff like that, But most people don't post the moments where they're feeling down or questioning themselves. And I'm wondering, like, have you ever felt FOMO from social media? How do you deal with it when it creeps up on you? I'm curious to see what your thoughts are about that. Okay. So let's get into the darker side of social media. And no, I'm not talking about the dark web, red rooms, and the Silk Road and shit like that. I'm not talking about that, man. I'm talking about the darker side of social media. One of the major issues we face with these platforms is how they can kind of create what's called echo chambers. These are spaces where we only hear opinions and ideas that align with our own, which can lead to more what's the word I'm looking for? Like more division. You know, it can lead to more. That's not the word I was looking for, but it kind of says what I'm trying to say. It can lead to more division and less open mindedness. Which also leads to less connection with people, or having a cynical view of the world. Among many other things. And instead of engaging in thoughtful conversations with people who think differently, we often kind of find ourselves surrounded by people who just go with us, who would just agree with us, like yes men, right? And it can feel comforting to have like a bunch of people who agree with you, or like say you have a grip of followers and all of them agree with everything you say, or say like you you know you you're in these groups or these discussions or whatever, these forums, and they're based off of feelings and opinions about a certain topic, and everybody all feels the same way, right? That um, that can prevent us from kind of broadening our perspective, and it can actually be the fuel to the fire of negativity a lot of the times, and then there's a lot of things we see that are toxic, and I'm guilty of being toxic before, man. I've had my toxic moments, whether that's not even just with the relationships. I've been involved in toxic relationships before, young and dumb, and trying to figure each other out and not going about it the right way, or having communication issues, whatever, right? But we've all seen the comment section with that, like, has nothing but chaos in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all seen that shit. You know what I mean? Like, nothing but chaos. Like, people talking shit, people offending each other, people, being racist, people, spreading misinformation, or just being mean as hell, right? And, you got the Twitter fingers on there, you know what I'm saying? But these things can kind of make a lot of people feel more disconnected than ever in human history, despite them being online all the time. So they might not even realize that they feel more disconnected, and that's a weird fucking thing, right? So I'm curious, do y'all think that social media has social media has made us like less tolerant of differing opinions, or like how do you personally handle negativity or toxicity online? Because a lot of people handle it differently. A lot of people are ready to crash out. Some people are ready to get on the dark web and give up this person's profile username. Like, go get this motherfucker. Like, man. Um, but yeah, how do y'all handle that shit? Okay, so we've explored a lot of the challenges, right? We've explored a lot of the challenges. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, my bad about that, y'all. But so where was I at? Where was I at? So we kind of explored a lot of the challenges, right? But here's the thing: social media. Me personally, I don't feel like social media. Like I feel like it doesn't have to be a negative force. You know, um, I don't feel like it has to be a negative force. It's kind of just all about how we use social media. Like if you're using it for BS or you're using it to like look at everybody else's life or you're using it, for whatever the hell that isn't gonna, benefit you in any way, that may cause a lot of issues. It may cause a lot of problems within your own life. Um, but I do feel as though we can still build real, meaningful connections online, even if the platforms have their flaws. You know, for example, finding communities that support you, like personally, and engaging in deeper conversations, or even using social media to raise awareness for causes that you care about. Like these are all good ass ways to use the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like these are all positive things that you can do to make an impact on your life and plenty of other people's lives. You know, but it also means that taking breaks when we need them. Taking breaks from social media when we need them, being mindful of our mental health, and remembering that life offline is just as important as life online. It's just as important. You know, um, it's just as important. But I kind of want to hear from y'all. What's one positive way that you've used social media, to build connections or like improve your life? Me personally, I could think of a grip of ways that I've done that, a grip of times. You know, um, but yeah, what's uh, what's one positive way that you can remember? All right, so as we wrap things up, I think we can all agree that social media is kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Um, it has the power to connect us, but it also has the potential to make us feel more disconnected if we're not careful with it, or we abuse it or we use it way too damn much, and that's one reason why kids on social media, and parental supervision with it is very important. So, with that being said, maybe the key is balance. We need to make sure we're using social media intentionally to strengthen relationships rather than replace them, and to engage in real conversations rather than just collecting followers. You know, I do want to say that I really appreciate y'all being here today. For me, this has been such an important conversation. And like I said, man, I love hearing. I would love to hear y'all's perspectives. So hit me up in the DMs if there's one takeaway from today's stream. I would say it'd have to be the the true the true value of connection is is measured by the depth of our relationships, not the number of people we're connected to online. Um, Thanks for joining tonight's stream. And remember, whether online or offline, real connections are always worth the effort. Straight up. And it's been awesome chopping it up with y'all tonight. But remember this, no matter how connected we are, it's the real, authentic connections that matter the most. So take care of yourselves, man. And if you ever need someone to holler at, you know where to find me. Catch y'all next time. And remember, you ain't never really truly alone, even if it feels that way sometimes. My name is Cloudy Wingz, CLOUDYWYNGZ. Go ahead and type that into Google. All my shit'll pop up. And that is tonight's stream.